Welcome back to Y'all Hate Sports, part 25, Players in Podcasting. I'm not gonna lie, I was struggling to figure out what topic to go over with my summer tour of fan bases everybody hates being over, and also, like any relatable content creator, I ran to Twitter for motivation. And yet, I searched for what people keep talking about and what's gonna create a combo, and then, during the middle of the episode, it finally hit me. Podcasts! Duh! I'm stupid. Everybody and their mom has a podcast nowadays. In the NFL, NBA, and WNBA, most definitely, podcast is king, and where players have gone to express their true feelings about a topic or a team or a player. But as I went deeper down the rabbit hole, I realized a lot of y'all really shouldn't have a podcast because you talk too much. I mean, players, not even in mid-season form. Guys that are getting burnt on the football field, or basketball players who got cooked on the defensive side of the court have been talking crazy. Role players have been talking crazy. Guys that haven't even won anything are saying what's on their mind. And then I thought to myself, whoa, wait a minute. Why are there so many players saying such outlandish things? Is it to garner attention for their podcasts? Maybe sub a certain player or a team they don't like? And half the time, I think that is what it comes down to. But in all honesty, I think it's a deeper rooted issue, especially in the NFL. There's individuality, and then there's what Roger Goodell wants. Let me explain. The NFL has had plenty of memorable personalities in years past, and even currently now. And they make a lot of money and generate a lot of views from not only these players, but the teams and their respective fan bases, because yes, football is king in a lot of Americans' eyes, and I mean every single American. It's what separates them from other major sports leagues like the NBA. It also helps that football is, I think, a more physically demanding sport than any other sport most Americans watch. Like the idea of a one-game elimination NBA final, I think would never work for multiple reasons, but the biggest probably being that these players won't overly exert their bodies for just one game of basketball. It's a best-of-7 series for a reason, while still playing 82 regular season games. For the women, it's the same thing essentially, just cut in half. Nobody in their right mind is going 110% every single night, and that's kind of the way it's supposed to be because it's a long season for basketball. Teams only want their top stars going 110% every night. That's why load management is so controversial. Meanwhile, in football, the idea of load management is foreign. Football is a sport where almost every game you play matters. With only 17 regular season games, a game up from 16 since 2020, the playoff format can be daunting too. Like I said, football is by far the most physically demanding sport between them and basketball. Now add that to a potentially competing for a wildcard spot where it'll have to deal with a deafening crowd on the road and possible horrible weather conditions depending on where the team plays, all while mastering the basic fundamentals of NFL football. A lot of y'all would look like Bryce Young out there. Just shit drizzling down your leg. But let me circle back to how this all connects with our original topic. These players have to care about other things other than just football, right? And you'd be correct if you said yes. A lot of them live very interesting lives and have unique and sometimes awesome hobbies they do. But the NFL don't want you to know that. They took away individuality, especially when on the field years ago. I'm not talking about the custom cleats or specialized mouth guards. Think the bigger picture here. Y'all remember when in October the NFL used to be decked out in pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month? Players would have whole pink dreads, pouches, towels, and teams would have pink detail on the field. Yeah, they swapped that out to have purple on the field instead, which represents all cancers, and that's fine. But players don't even have the option to wear pink anymore to show who they play for. Team celebrations, touchdown celebrations, celebrating in the opponent's base after a big play. Nope, and hell no. I think the final straw in the league from an individuality standpoint, however, was back on September 1st, 2016, when Colin Kaepernick decided to take a knee during the national anthem in a preseason game. Now, if you also remember, during this time, a new felon had just been elected president, President Donald Trump, and his fan base of angry, downright malicious, and racist voters were not happy with Kaepernick's protests. It got to a point where death threats were being sent to certain players and teams, and to this day, I still don't get why people were this upset over kneeling for innocent people who lost their lives due to police brutality. And there were some owners in the league that would agree with that sentiment. However, there were some that wouldn't. And that's where the line was drawn. Alright, owners, players, and coaches came together in solidarity to protest the African Americans who had lost their lives to police brutality that year. Black Lives Matter was written on the field, as well as equality and other vague messages like, remember to vote. Because Roger Goodell in the league wanted to keep the peace on both sides. The side of the white brash, blue-collar All-American who just wants to watch football on his screen, and the black, ambitious African-American that just wanted his favorite sport to acknowledge what was going on in this country. It's the one thing the WNBA and the NBA have up on the NFL, and that's getting the right message across. Random message about blacks being killed in this country by Chris Webber as LeBron hits a half-court three aside, they have always had a hand in assisting the community in getting the message the masses need to hear across. Because they understand their demographic and realize 33-year-old Jim from Alabama who voted for Trump isn't going to care that much to watch their sport anyway. So, with that said, all real personality being stymied from the field, where can NFL players go to get their thoughts out? In front of mic and camera, baby. Now, I will admit, especially within the last 2 years, it has gotten egregious. Like, seriously, some of y'all need to remember who you are and what you're producing out there on the field. But this is reality now, and the only few places players can go to express what they're feeling without getting reprimanded by a league is in a podcast. So while I don't agree with the things I see sometimes on these pods, we have to come to a consensus that this is where individuality has gone. We will probably never see a Terrell Owens or Chad Ochocinco or Deion Sanders in the NFL again until the league untightens the leash it has on the Players Association. What these owners do to keep their players fed with money and stats. A forever ongoing battle to keep the league's views and money up. Does Roger Goodell want to talk about any school shooting that has happened within the last 3 years? I mean, he has plenty to choose from. No. But you see this Amazon money that they got? You see this Peacock money spread, bro? And that, my friends, is America in a nutshell. So, I guess, really, football is actually America's sport. And now baseball isn't. I mean, it's really always been this way, but I think it's just more subliminal now than anything. Anyways, be sure to check out my sports podcast, by the way, called the We Hate Sports Podcast. And follow me on my socials, Billy versus the World, all across the board, including my Twitch, where I stream every Monday and Tuesday. My name is Billy Cameron, and I will see you guys in the next part of Y'all Hate Sports.